Hello, and thank you for joining me. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I'll happily eat anything pictured here. In my last video, I highlighted and discussed my 5 favorite Gulf Coast fish to catch and eat. In this video, I will discuss my least favorite 5 Texas Gulf Coast fish to catch and eat. Please stay tuned. When putting this list together, I took several factors into consideration. It's not only that these are my least favorite fish to eat, I'm also not a big fan of catching, cleaning, nor handling these species. Let's get into it. Number 5, king mackerel or kingfish. I know this is a popular target species for Texas Gulf Coast nearshore anglers. It's one of the more abundant pelagic species caught in our waters, and they are not difficult to catch. Here are my reasons for not liking them so much. First, when I go through the time and expense of taking an offshore fishing trip, I simply never target kingfish. If I'm trolling or fishing rigs, wrecks, and reefs and happen to land one of these, it is certainly never my target. Second, kingfish have some gnarly teeth, and when you put them on deck, it can always be risky for crew and or other fishermen on the boat. Third, the meat quality just isn't up to my standard. If caught, cleaned, and cooked while still very fresh, it isn't bad on the grill, but if not cooked the same day, the flesh turns an off-putting gray color, which just isn't very appetizing. The meat also dries out easily, so prep options are limited. And finally, kingfish are proven to contain some of the highest levels of mercury of any species, so you really shouldn't eat a fish much larger than 30 inches. And it is advised that you only consume up to 8 ounces per day. So in summary, with all of these factors being considered, maybe you can understand why I just don't look forward to catching these. Number 4, saltwater catfish. When I'm fishing the coast and I start hooking into some hardheads or gaff-top catfish, it's a sign of bad things in my opinion. It obviously means that I'm not catching my target species and typically not a great day out on the water. I do, however, fish far more with the goal of having fresh fish for dinner, so in a pinch, I will fillet up some of the larger ones when nothing else is available. Things that put me off about these are the difficulty and danger of handling them, the amount of slime and poop that they leave on your equipment and your boat, and I guess just the reputation overall of them being considered a trash fish doesn't help. Number 3, ladyfish or skipjack. The poor man's tarpon are definitely fun to catch and a challenge to land. However, after the short thrill of the fight is over, you're left with a catch that is delicious but very difficult to clean and often best used as cut bait. Again, in a pinch, I'll process some of the larger ones and make a dish with the very limited use of its yield, which is not a fillet but rather a mush texture. Also, when you start catching these, your target species or any actual desired game species typically isn't surfacing. Number 2, sharks and rays. Both of these make great table fare, but in general, none of these species are safe to handle nor fun to clean. Also, When we start catching either species, in my opinion, as a subsistence angler, we're just not having a very productive day on the water. I never target either of these groups. They are always an unwanted bycatch. Number one, and finally, the king of the trash can, Jack Crevel, or jackfish. I've never been a fan of these fish in any way, shape, or form. As I stated in a prior video, I am not a sports fisherman. I fish for food. Hooking into a jack will give you a great fight, and if that's what you're looking for, then awesome. Otherwise, when fishing for food, these are just a waste of your time and energy on the water. They fight so hard they can break rods and damage gear. I don't want a Jack Crevalle in my boat any more than the fish itself wants to be in my boat. In summary, there is nothing wrong with catching, cleaning, cooking, and eating any of these species. They all have their benefits and drawbacks to different people. This is just my opinion. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your next fishing adventure.